Good evening. I'm going to show you some records that I've been listening to lately. Some are famous classics a lot of people already have heard, but I will try mixing it up with some lesser known bands worth checking out. Let's do this! Start out with a couple of Slayer records. First up is their sophomore release from '85, Hell Awaits, originally released on Metal Blade Records. Most people are familiar with Hell Awaits, however I feel it's slightly overlooked compared to other early Slayer records. Almost every song is a killer, especially the title track Hell Awaits, Kill Again, At Dawn They Sleep, Praise of Death and Necrophilic are arguably some of the very best Slayer songs of all time. And the production, especially the guitars, are a little bit thin, but that's my only complaint with this record. It's 37 minutes of evil sounding, excellent thrash metal, and this is my second favorite Slayer record. My version is a 2016 reissue from Metal Blade. And the packaging is very nice, a very sturdy outer sleeve. And inside you get a nice printed inner sleeve with the old Metal Blade logo. And it comes on 180 gram black vinyl, and you can see the old Metal Blade logo on the center label. And this reissue were available in some other color variants, limited to 500 copies each. It comes with a lyric insert, and on the backside you have pictures of the classic 80s lineup playing live and hanging out backstage. You also get a big poster with album artwork. You can grab a copy of this from various distros, for instance High Roller Records and Nuclear Blast. All four Slayer releases on Metal Blade have gotten reissues in the last couple of years, so if you don't have those and prefer them, pick them up also. Short snippet from the album. Next up we have my and the majority of people's favorite Slayer record, Raining Blood. Originally released in '86 on Def Jam Recordings and Geffen Records. Raining Blood is widely regarded as Slayer's magnum opus. It's 28 minutes of excellent thrash metal. I personally think Angel of Death, Jesus Saves and Criminal Insane and Raining Blood are the highlights. To compare it with Hell Awaits, I think the biggest difference is in the production, where Raining Blood is far superior. The guitar sound is just perfect on Raining Blood. And my copy is, as you can see, a picture disc. It's actually an original German pressing from '86. And on the backside you have track listing and credits. I bought it used through a Swedish alternative to eBay called Tradera. I paid $40, which is just a fraction lower than those available on Discogs. At the time I bought it, I was not aware of people's opinion that picture discs were to be avoided because of the inferior sound quality. And at first I did not hear anything, but when I bought a new, much better turntable, I noticed that the further the stylus gets to the center, the worse the sound gets. And if you jump from the first track to the last track on each side, the difference is quite apparent. And my turntable does not have this problem with any other record, so there's nothing wrong with my tone arm setup, and I have tried cleaning the record several times, but with no improvement at all. Short snippet from the album. My Slayer collection. Next up I'm going to show some records from a band called Vanhelgd. If you're not familiar with Vanhelgd, it's a band from Mjölby, Sweden. They were formed in 2007 and have so far released 4 full-lengths and 1 EP. The music they play can be described as old school Swedish death metal with they mix in many other influences, maybe a little bit of Candlemass, some pinch of early Incantation sprinkled into the mix, and I think that makes Vanhelgd stand out from the typical old school Swedish death metal bands. I don't own a physical copy of their debut full-length Cult of Lazarus, nor their 2010 EP Praise the Serpent. I do have a copy of their second full-length called Church of Death. It was released on CD and vinyl in 2011 on Nuclear War Now Productions, and it has a running time of 34 minutes. The production is kind of raw and stripped down, especially if you compare it to modern death metal releases, but it suits the music well, but it could have been slightly more polished. My favorite tracks are The Final Storm, Point of No Return, and the last song, Alone with the Dead, which is a slower, more doomy track. And my version is the black vinyl, limited to 700 copies. It was available as a picture disc also, and a more limited black-white splatter. My version might be a reprint since the disc I ordered from had 2017 as the year of release, when it actually was released in 2011. At the time I ordered it, I thought this was their latest release, which is not correct. And it contains a lyric insert, and on the backside you have a picture of the band members and some artwork. Also get a poster with the extended album artwork. And Mattias Frisk, the main vocalist and guitar player, is the one who made all the artwork. And one thing that's really cool is that there are some tracks with lyrics in Swedish, which you don't see too often in death metal. The intro, Kolsvarta skyar, translates to Pitch Black Skies, Mänsklighetens finala ruin, the final ruin of mankind, and Total Apocalypse, which is Total Apocalypse. It seems it's starting to be out of stock on most distros outside Sweden, but you can order it from the Swedish distro www.bengans.com. It seems they ship worldwide. Here are some snippets from the album. With Vanhelm, in 2014 they released their third full length called Relics of Sulphur Salvation. It was released on Pulverized Records and 20 Buck Spin, and this was actually the first record I heard by Vanhelm. It received a lot of praise when it was released in 2014, and I think it might even got awarded Album of the Year, first place in Album of the Year by the Swedish metal magazine called Close Up. At least it was in the top 5 or 10. And between the records of Church of Death and this one, there have been a lineup changes. Bassist Victor Gustafsson left and have been replaced by Jonas Albrektsson from King of Asgard. However, the biggest difference between Relics and both their previous records are that they switched studio and producer when recording this, and it's a big step up in sound quality. It's not at all polished, but everything just sounds much better. Also, the riffs and melodies are nicer and the songs are more memorable. Pretty much everything is a step up, making this a whole lot better than the previous works, even though the earlier stuff is also very good. And this one clocks in at around 40 minutes. My favorite tracks on this record are the two songs with lyrics in Swedish. Opening track, Dödens maskätna anlete, and Ett liv i träldom, especially the ending. The vinyl is plain black. It was also available as a limited white. And the center label is nothing to write home about. Unfortunately, there are no lyrics included this time, which is a shame because they are very good, and they have released some of the lyrics on their Facebook page, and although it's hard, you can make out most of the lyrics after repeat listens. And what you get instead is an insert with a band photo and some pretty cool artwork, courtesy of Mattias Frisk. Here are some highlights. Next up we have Vanhelm's latest effort, Temple of Phobos. It was released in 2016 on Pulverized Records and Dark Descent Records. The difference between this one and Relics of Soul for Salvation are not that significant compared to the improvement between Church of Death and Relics of Soul for Salvation. It's the same lineup, same studio and producer, length of the record is almost identical too, and it's a toss-up which one I prefer of those two. These two. My favorite tracks on this record are the opening track, Lamentation of the Mortals, Den Klentrognes Klagan, with the ominous organ orchestra or whatever it is in the end, and the slower, more doomy Gravens Lovsång, with its incredible heavy riffing mixed with beautiful guitar leads. And the vinyl is plain black. There was a limited white version also. And this time the lyric sheet is back, and layout is really cool. As you can see, it looks like something from a Christian psalm book they have in church. And apparently there is another version of the black vinyl, and on that one and the CD version there is 5 minutes of silence after the last track, Allt hopper förbi, and then a bonus track called Förbi allt hopp kicks in. My version does not have this, but instead this version comes with a bonus 7-inch with 2 tracks where Förbi allt hopp is on one side and Dödsdansens tidevarv is on the other side. Basically, Förbi allt hopp is a remix of Allt hopper förbi, where they have removed the female vocals at the end, and they play the track at double speed, and the main vocalist sings the backup vocalist lines and the other way around. And the second track is called Dödsdansens tidevarv, which is the song Rebellion of the Inquitious from the full length, but with Swedish lyrics instead. And I actually think I prefer the versions on the 7-inch, especially when they sing in Swedish. I ordered this straight from the band through their Bandcamp, so I got some stickers with cool artwork. And a thank you note. Tack för supporten, Mattias Vanhält. Thanks for the support, which was a really nice touch. And before the snippets, I just wanted to say that Vanhält recently announced that they will release a new full-length this October called Deimos Sanctuarium, which you can pre-order for now from Dark Descent, Season of Mist, and High Roller Records, among others. Here are the snippets. From Vanhält, we next journey south to Germany. This is Beneath, Below, Behold by the Germans in Antlers. If you're not familiar with Antlers, they're from Leipzig, Germany, and was formed in 2013. They have released 2 records to this date, and their music can be described as atmospheric black metal with some hints of maybe Wolves in the Throne Room and some dissection-esque riffing at places. Their first record is called A Gaze into the Abyss and was released in 2015, but I don't own no physical copy of that one. Thus, Beneath, Below, Behold is their second full-length. It was released earlier this year on Toten Music and Band Records, and the record has 9 tracks, but 2 of them are acoustic interludes, and the last track has more the character of an outro. And the remaining 6 songs are vary greatly in both length and structure, from the epic first track, Theon, clocking at 11 minutes, to the 3-minute all-out raider Off With Their Tongues with its awesome guitar leads. My one complaint I have is that the drums are a little bit loud in the mix, drowning everything else when they start blasting. This was not the case on their debut, making me prefer the debut slightly. It's not the end of the world, it's just it could have been better. And it's a gatefold, it's on double vinyl, but one of the sides is etched. I don't know if you can see, but it looks very nice. It is also available on a limited black vinyl, which has an additional slipcase. And it comes with a booklet with lyrics and some cool artwork. Also, you get a poster of the album artwork. And on the backside is a symbol of some sort, which I don't know what it represents. I ordered my copy from Van Records, and it seems they still have both the black and blue still in stock, so you can order a copy of it. Here are some snippets. Final record for today's video is from the Spanish band Titan Blood. If you don't know who Titan Blood is, it's a death metal band from Madrid, Spain. They were formed in 2003 and have released 2 full-lengths and a bunch of EPs and splits. This is their second full-length called Death, which is the only one I got a physical copy of. This was released in 2014 on Norma Evangelium Diaboli and the Aina Offensive. And it's very hard to describe their music. In its essence, it's a very raw, abrasive and chaotic form of old school death metal with noise and industrial elements put in. And the production is very claustrophobic, for a lack of better words. So the songs shift from very fast and chaotic to more ominous, slower parts. And the songs range from 3 to 4 minutes all the way to the 12-minute mark, making it have a running time in the excess of 1 hour, which can be a little challenging with this type of music because it's quite challenging stuff. I think the record is best listened to as a whole, but if I had to pick a favorite track, it's the opening track Anti Infierno, because it's such a surprisingly sonic beatdown right from the get-go. Excellent start to the album, and it's only available on black vinyl. And the D-side has only one song on it, and it's the 8-minute outro to the song Silence of the Great Martyrs. And it includes a lyric sheet, but the font is a little bit weird, so some words are kind of hard to read. And on the other side, there's a grainy picture of the 2 band members. Apparently Jay plays the drums and NSK does everything else. Also, Chris Reifert from Autopsy does some guest vocals on the track Burning in the Damnation Fires, which is really cool. And if you want to pick up a copy, it seems that Death Wish has copies still left, and also Agonia Records. And just a little warning, the first snippet is the opening tracks. You might want to turn the sound down because, as I said before, it's quite chaotic. Here you go. That was it for today's video. Hopefully someone watching got a recommendation on new stuff to listen to. Next video will be more of the same but different, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Bye.